So the first question I got for you is just where did your love for softball start? Like who or what was kind of the main driving force between you getting into softball?
So I started, I want to say around like when I was 6. So I played t-ball here locally, and then my older sister actually, which is the catcher on our high school team, wanted to be a pitcher. And so me being like, oh, I want to be like big sis. So then I started wanting to be a pitcher too. And so I think just from there, and like that's when I really started working more at it, because we would go to pitching lessons, and then, I would work at home because I liked it. And then my dad actually had a team called Explosion, and we were just pretty local. But I always played up. I was always the youngest. And so then that's really whenever I really loved it and really started to want to play. And then I got to where I wanted to go adventure out into something bigger and travel more. And then from then on, I've just been playing, I guess, more competitive.
I know everyone has like the talk of the town now is that like the travel stuff takes away from high school, and I guess there is a speck of truth to that. Like the high school really isn't that big of a scene; it's more of the travel ball scene. Like, do you favor one, or is there like travel ball kind of more fate? Like, do you like high school better? Like travel ball better? Like, is there which one do you prefer if you do it any?
I do like travel ball better, but
Right.
high school ball, I feel like it's so different because you have, I mean, you go to school with these girls and you're around them all year. And then to be able to come out on the field and just like build those relationships yearly with those girls and watch them like want something as bad as like the girls that I travel with, and to see them love the game like everybody else does. So I think there's two sides of it, but travel ball, because I guess we all want the same thing. Like you can tell that the grit's there, but high school ball is definitely, I personally enjoy high school ball a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's positives to both. Um,
Yes.
so I want to talk about basketball, and then I'll get into your injury if you're okay with talking with that. But
Yes.
what led you to like why basketball? You like is it just to something to do while you're off of softball, or talk me through basketball, how you came to play on the basketball court?
Yeah, so I played when I was younger too. We have a league here. It was called Upward. And so I honestly, basketball has just been something fun for me to do. I did actually play AAU when I was in middle school. So I was playing travel softball and AAU. And so then they were like, you kind of got to pick one, like travel. You can still play basketball, but if you want to do travel softball, you can't do both. So then I just started playing just school basketball. And it's just like I've always enjoyed playing and being around the girls. And I'm a very competitive person. And so just getting out there and competing, like I may not be the best on the court, but I'm going to give you my all at all times. And just, I guess, competing.
Now, I was talking with Coach Wiggs earlier this morning. He's your head coach, softball head coach at Hutland. So could you talk me through your injury of what happened in basketball? I think you tore your ACL, if I'm getting that correct, but it happened during your freshman year, he mentioned. And so you really didn't miss any time because that was when COVID was going around, like everything was closing down. But I guess injuries have different effects on different athletes. Just what was your mindset? Did that injury affect you in any way? Like your like mindset had changed on anything? Just overall, what was that injury and that journey like coming back from that like?
We were actually playing Moore County, which is our rival school. And we were at Moore County. My best friend, Anna Stevenson, we were pressing and I tipped the ball. She got it. I ran down court and I tried to stop and catch the ball. And when I did, it just tore. I can remember looking up at my dad, and he was like, just like his face, it was like so sad. I didn't know what was wrong. I just knew that I was in a lot of pain. I remember them telling me that I could go back in after halftime if I felt like it. And so I was like, yes, like I'm going to do that. I'm going to rest it. I'm going to play the rest of the quarter. And then they told me that if my toes went numb, that should tell the trainer. And so I was sitting there, I had my leg propped up and I couldn't feel my toes anymore. And so then I was like, oh, there's really something wrong. And so I could barely walk on it. I was like hopping around. We went to the doctor the next day. They did all these ACL tests, all of this kind of stuff. The doctor was like, there's nothing torn, dislocated knee, you go to therapy for a few weeks and you'll be back. So I was like, yes, great. And then his son actually played football in college. And he was like, as a dad, I would recommend getting the MRI, just to make sure everything's fine. So then we ended up getting the MRI, went back the next week, went in. He was like, I really feel like you're going to get good news today. Went in. He was like, I'm going to go get the scans. He goes and gets the scans, come back. And he just told me all these medical words about ACL, MCL. And I was like, all right, just tell me straight up. Like, do I need surgery or not? He was like, yeah, you need surgery and you're going to be out so he told me 9 months was my out time. And I just remember I was like, what if I never get to play softball again? Just so many emotions. It was about to be softball season. I was so excited. So we actually scheduled surgery not long after that. We were like, let's get it done, get it out of the way. It's not going to get any better. So then COVID hit. So I actually had my surgery right before they shut all non-emergent surgeries off. So they ended up canceling softball season. And then my school, so we had planned it out to where I would only miss a week of school before spring break. So I'd be out of school 2 weeks and I'd go back. So when I left for surgery, I never went back to school after my freshman year. So then I just remember being so defeated. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've just done softball my whole life. And so my dad had plenty of talks with me, my hitting coaches, all these coaches would call and just kind of talk me through it. Tell me that I'm not the only one that's ever torn it. It's hard. It definitely is. So went to therapy. Therapy was hard. I remember them telling me that I was going to have to bend my knee the day after I got out of surgery. And I was like, are you you're joking? I can't even feel it. But, so the therapy part was it was the worst pain I've ever been in my whole life for sure. But, it was, I would say 2 to 3 months in to this process. So I tore my meniscus, so I couldn't walk for 6 weeks. So for those 6 weeks, it was pretty hard because I was used to always being gone and stuff. And I really just had to sit, in the house, and I couldn't go anywhere without, somebody helping me. But after I got where I could walk again, it was pretty crazy. I had to relearn how to walk actually. So I was very shocked that I just didn't know how to walk anymore. But I started to my trainer. His name was John O'Driscoll. He was actually neighbors with my Nana. And so I would go to therapy in the mornings and then I would work out with him at night. So I would get 2 to 3 therapy sessions a day, just trying to get back. And I remember I went to every single tournament we had, and sitting on the sidelines watching everybody play was kind of eye-opening to me, because you sometimes just go out there and play and you're like, oh well, it's just another game. But it really opened to me hey, you got to play every game like it's your last, because I didn't plan to tear my ACL, so you never know what could happen. So from then on, it kind of changed my perspective on everything. Hey, you need to go 100% because you never know what could happen. You could hurt yourself walking. So I learned a lot about the game that way too, kind of the mental side and strategies, because I really paid attention to that side of the game and not just playing anymore. And, but yeah, so therapy, and I just pushed hard. I was like, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back. So I went for my final therapy session in Nashville, because they were the ones that made sure I was on track. And I saw my surgeon after therapy, and it was he told me the time before I had about 2 more visits before I would get released. So up to this point, I had not started running yet. I had just kind of walked. I jogged a little bit, but not running. And I go in there. He does leg test, muscle test, and he told me that I was released. And I was in shock. I didn't know what to say. I was like, I haven't ran or done anything like that. And we actually played our first travel ball tournament that weekend. And so I was like, so does that mean I get to play this weekend? And he was like, I mean, you're cleared, like you have no restrictions, but it's all like what you're comfortable with, because it's not easy to go back out there and play. And I looked at my dad and I was like, I want to play, like I'm playing. And so we were actually I was supposed to go to the beach with my mom and my sisters. And then I was going to go to the tournament, but I was like, oh, I can't go to the beach anymore. Like I got to practice. Like I gotta, figure out what I'm doing. And so I practiced, I think, for like 3 days. We took off. I was in my brace. And I remember my first at bat, I was like, okay, I just got to hit in the outfield and I can just jog. I hit I think I hit a little chopper to shortstop and I had to run to first. And I ended up beating it out. I think they like made an error on it or something. So I ended up getting on base. But I remember the whole team was just like on the fence. Like they were so excited to see me. I remember all the parents had like their video cameras out videoing. So like that to me was probably the most like eye-opening thing, like to see the support and see everybody like, wanting you to do good. And so, yeah. And then I actually got released 2 months earlier than I was supposed to. So then I played with my brace throughout. I was iffy about playing basketball because I was like, I don't want to get hurt again. I do not want to go through this again. But I ended up playing basketball and I did not miss a game after I got back. So I've been playing throughout and I'm going to continue to play this year for my last year. So then they tell you that after a year, you can come out of your brace. And so I was ready to get out of it. I was like, I don't want to be in this thing anymore. So last fall, I started to come out of it. Well, we didn't really know. Actually, I know it was 2 falls ago. We didn't really know how much, if I should just go after it. I felt pretty good. So I remember we were at practice and I took off the brace. I was pitching. I was doing good. Like everything was fast, nothing hurt. And then I went to like work out the next day. I was running on the treadmill, trying to build everything up. And the next day I like couldn't walk, like my knee hurt. And I was like, this is not normal. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just sore because it's not used to, having to do all the work because the brace isn't supporting it. So I tried to pitch to it and I tried to, I went to see our trainer and he was like, ice it, do all this stuff. It's probably just sore. Mm-hmm. So I did that. I kept practicing and I was pitching and it was kind of sore at the beginning, but I was like, I'm going to work through it, and I got at the end, I like couldn't walk on it. So I was like, crap. So we went back to my trainer and I was like, look, I don't know what's going on. So we did these tests. So I had sprained my MCL.
Okay.
So I was like, I couldn't do anything for like a month.
Okay.
So then after that, I decided that I would put my brace back on. And so I did, in fact, wear it for an extra year.
Okay. Gotcha.
So then this fall, I got with a personal trainer and told him, hey, I'm trying to work out of my brace, all this stuff. So I told my dad, I was like, we're not touching a ball until my knee is like strong, right. All the muscles around it, keeping it in. Mm-hmm. So I probably worked out for 2 to 3 months on my knee and just did all this stuff before I, pitched without my brace. And so since then it's been good. And so I've been brace free for almost a year now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
When you're on the field, I know that can be kind of a hindrance, like mentally, but when you're pitching, do you like pitching better than batting? Because I know you're an offensive talent, like your numbers are out of this world, but you're also a very good pitcher. Do you kind of favor being in the circle or being in the batter's box?
I think it depends on the situation. Like if I love pitching. Pitching is probably my favorite thing to do just because I feel that I'm like in control of the game, kind of like set the pace, but also I love like doing it for my team. So hitting wise too. And then when I'm not pitching, I favor hitting. But when I am pitching, if I'm pitching and hitting, pitching is definitely more favorable.
Now I was looking at rankings too earlier this week. I think extra inning softball is in the top 10. Mm-hmm. Do you really? I don't know. Athletes look at those rankings and they use them as motivation sometimes, or they don't really care about them at all. what do you look at them, or do they have any effect on you, or do you really don't care about them, about the rankings?
I do look, when it comes out, I'm just like, oh, let's see where I am. But honestly, no, it doesn't. I mean, if I was ranked 15th, I wouldn't think less of myself. But I just know that all the girls that are in front of me are really, really good too. So I guess I'm just blessed to be even recognized in that. And then seeing that I'm in the top 10, I feel like is a huge accomplishment. And so, but yeah, I don't really like get all hung up in that part of the game, because I'm just trying to focus on what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do. But it is cool to see it is cool to see all the girls that are ranked and all the ones that I know, and just seeing them being recognized too.
Mm-hmm. How many of those ahead of you or that are kind of close to you in the rankings do you play with summer league?
Most of the ones in the top 10, there's probably 2 or 3 actually I've played with in summer ball when we were younger.
Okay.
And then Angeli Bueno, she's not, I don't really know, but she's close. I don't know if she was she might be 10, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
She's on my travel ball team right now. So yeah, but I know most of them that are around everything.
Talk me through the recruiting process for you. I mean, obviously you got the Florida State shirt on. I think everyone in the softball community knows you're heading to Florida State after your senior year. But just talk me through what the recruiting process was like for you. I know it can be different. It was probably, I know a lot of people were recruited during COVID, so I mean that's probably not for your experience, but just talk me through what it was like for you to talk to different schools and everything.
So I burbled in 7th grade before the rule changed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mine was a little different than most people, but I played and I picked up with a team in Florida, and Florida State has these Monday night camps. It's like an hour of pitching and an hour of hitting.
Okay.
So we went on our way back. We went to just one of these Monday night camps, and I went there, and I just loved everything about it. I loved the coaches. Everybody was so nice. All of that. I was like, this is different than anywhere else I've been. Mm-hmm. So they invited me back to an unofficial visit. And so I think we went back. I don't remember how long after that we went back, but we went back, went on an unofficial visit, went to some camps, just fell in love with everything about it. The people, the family there, like the culture, all of that was just so much different than anything I'd ever experienced at any other school. And so to me, that was so big. And then they ended up offering me before the rule change. So I think I was one of the last ones to do it. Yeah. Cause I think it changed in, I want to say May, and I burbled it. So yeah, mine was very different, but on September 1st of my junior year, when they did call, it was like kind of a surreal moment. Like, oh, this is happening.
I want to talk about the Gatorade Player of the Year. Like, Coach Wiggs said, I believe you're like the first player to ever, no matter what sport, to ever win an award like that. He spoke very highly of you, said you're probably the best player, boys or girls, that he's coached. I'm not sure if he's told you that. I'm not sure if I should be saying that to you or not. But what are your thoughts on winning Gatorade Player of the Year, being that special, being awarded that special award for Huntland?
I think it's great, like for the school. Like I love that I'm able to represent that school because it's such an amazing school, and like the support that I have behind me is so good. But at the same time, like I got the award, and I'm like so honored and grateful that people recognize all the hard work that I put in. But also, like, my ERA wouldn't be as good as it was if it wasn't for my defense. You know what I mean? So like, I just feel like it's such an honor to have this award and to be recognized and be able to represent Huntland like that. But also, again, like there's so many other things, like the team and all the hours we put in. So I think that's a big part of it too, because I mean I definitely cannot do it without the team. But yeah, just being recognized for this award it's probably one of the most special awards I've gotten.
I know every athlete, even regular people that aren't athletes, I mean, they use different stuff for motivation and everything to get through their day, their year, month, whatever. Is there a certain player or person, or I don't know, an article or something you kind of look at or have looked up to for motivation, or just using that to better yourself as an athlete or a person?
I mean, yeah, I look up, to like the greatest like pitchers. You have like Kat Osterman, Monica Abbott, Jenny Finch, all of those that are just, such good role models for us. But really what I use is like, if I like one day I just decide, hey, I'm just gonna, be lazy today, not do anything. I'm like, oh, well, there's that one girl that's getting 1% better. And, I might face her, that hitter the hitter that I couldn't get out last time, like, hey, like the next time I face her, I'm going to get her out. So it's just really just me knowing that I have to do what I have to do to better myself. And I try not to get caught up in, what everybody else is doing. And I think that helps a lot too, that I'm not trying to chase like other people. Like I'm not trying to be better than so-and-so. I'm trying to be the best that I can be at all times. And so holding yourself to that standard, I think really gets me there. Like, hey, setting goals for yourself, like even like working out or, hitting, pitching, I want my average to be here, or I want to hit so many doubles this season. So I think that setting goals for yourself, I think that's what really, motivates me and drives me.
What do you think you would have told your like younger self, like 5 to 8 years old, like where you are now as an athlete? Like, what do you think your younger self, like 8 years old, would have thought about where you are now as an athlete?
Like 8 years old, there's no chance at 8 years old that I even thought I would be this good. So you have your great like Facebook memories, and my dad will show me videos of me when I was 8, and I was like, what? Like that is not even good. So yeah, she would probably be screaming right now if she could see me now. But yeah, at 8 years old, there's no even, yeah, every 8-year-old's like, oh yeah, I want to play ball. But yeah, there's no chance at 8 years old that I thought I would be here. So
thanks again for joining us, Ashtyn. I'll just wrap up with this question. I think everyone, no matter if they're a football player, basketball player, baseball, whatever sport, someone always finds a reason, to play that sport. That sport, it had something special to them. Everyone has a different reason, I believe. But for you, why is softball such a special sport in your mind?
So my mom was actually a pitcher.
Okay.
She played softball when she was younger. And I just feel like softball just teaches you so many lessons, and I feel like it teaches you so much about yourself. Like you have to strive, you have to work, you have to push yourself. And so I feel like within the game, it teaches you how to fail, it teaches you how to succeed, it teaches you how to interact with people. You meet so many new people throughout your journey. And so I think softball is so important to me because it's taught me so many life lessons. And so, and I definitely don't think that I would be the person that I am today if it wasn't for all the things that I've been through with softball. So it is, the game is very, very, very special to me.
Thanks again, Ashtyn, for joining us. Best of luck on the senior year, and hopefully we get to see you repeat as Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year.